Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Toku Portal podcast for Uchuu Sentai KyuuRanger. I am Vashi V, and I am joined with...
DK.
That okay?
Rye.
And today we're talking about Uchuu Sentai KyuuRanger episode 33. Surprisingly, we have no recap at the beginning, and we just go straight into the opening.
Decade, your mic's a little off.
You sound a little
okay.
quiet, actually. I can turn you up on my end, but that won't help King or Vashi.
No. That's better, right?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, yep. So, after the opening, we cut to the Rangers on Earth discussing their current situation. We get the episode title, Space 33, Takeoff, Battle, Orion Ship. Lucky proposes they steal a Moraimazu, but a voice tells him there's no need. Eris appears in front of them and hugs Lucky. She has a message from Sho and has no idea who Orion is, because Sho's the one that met her and gave her the Kyutama. I forgot what it was. One of the Argo ship ones. Anyways, Lucky uses the Yagi Kyutama Eris gives him to play a message from Sho, who reveals the Battle Orion ship, which is located on Earth. So, yeah, they don't have to worry about not having a spaceship for long. Tsurugi is shocked and tells the others that Orion created an anti-dark matter battleship, but he didn't know if it existed or what happened to it. So the Rangers deploy to find the ship. Thoughts?
I liked seeing the commander again. That was nice. Eris, again, very glad she's not a throwaway. So, yeah, I wasn't all that fond of her at first, but she makes me laugh, so I was okay with seeing her. And I do think it's clever that they threw something in that not even Tsurugi knew existed or not, because, like he said at the time, he didn't know whether or not it was even started to be built yet, let alone finished. So that was a nice touch on their half. I have a lot of thoughts this week, but I'll save them for when they come. Overall, it was a good opening.
It was nice to see Eris again. I do like that they touched upon the fact that, yeah, she saw Sholampo this time, not Orion, so history did change a little bit. Revisionist history, everyone, in the most literal sense.
Yeah, that's an understatement to say the least. Oh, I will admit, I was glad to see Eris, but at the same time I was a little shocked. Because like King said, she seemed like a throwaway character that, kind of one or done kind of thing. So for her to pop up in the episode, it's like, wait, I forgot she existed. I did like the fact that they explained the revised history. The only issue I have with Suguri, all of a sudden, knowing that the ship existed is why did he say nothing before now? I understand that there was a possibility that it wasn't completed, but hey, why not check on the progress? It's been a couple hundred years.
Well, I guess it's because it was probably just barely being started when Tsurugi went into cold sleep.
I would say
for a while.
I would say the problem was that Darnar Mage being alive took priority in his mind.
Yeah, he probably thought that Orion took top priority in that and stopped production.
Right, I kind of get that, but at the same time, it's 300 years.
He wasn't alive for most of it.
Okay.
Bullshit.
Okay, then, but I mean, just in terms of, nobody knows exactly what Orion did other than spread the legend and obviously start on the idea of the battleship. It's been 300 years. I'd go, if that had been me, I'd be going, might want to check the progress of that. It's one of those things that kind of seems important.
Yeah. So Kukuruga's spy tells him about the plan, but Mr. Magera, chief retainer of the Ares system, wants to join so he can become a vice shogun. Lucky and Tsurugi come across Orion's grave. Rangers meet up and explore a cave, but are attacked from behind by Kukuruga, Magera, and Indibi. Lucky Naga, Balance, Tsurugihami, and Spada start change and fight while the others go and look for the ship. Magera uses his power to twist anything to redirect blasts, but he can twist personalities as well and uses his power on Spada, Balance, and Hami, turning them into stubborn old people who do the opposite of what they're told. Balance eagerly tells Kukuruga their plan, that they're here to find a legendary battleship. Dark Matter retreats for now after hearing the plan. Before I continue, what do you guys think of this?
Just a quick question. For those of you who saw, like, the normal subs, did anyone else think when they translated his name to Twistler, it said Twizzler? Like the licorice?
No.
I'm dyslexic, so yes, that's exactly what I read.
But yeah, I mean, he certainly has an interesting design. I did like his power. It was pretty unique. Seeing Orion's grave, I am glad that they did the obvious and they showed it age over time. Like, the spike is pretty much a little stump now. The code's nothing but rags. The club has lost all its sheen. It's basically dirt now. So yeah, I mean, good touches on their part. As for these three little personality changes, I have officially dubbed them as Balance, or Jarvis, if you want to go that way, Grammy Hammy, and for those of you who know Popeye, Spada the Sailor Man. I dare you question me on that. But yeah, those three had me in stitches the whole damn time. So it was a nice change, and hell, it made me laugh, so I'm happy.
For Orion's grave, like, holy shit, they did a good job making that look weather worn. Second off, I'm surprised this club was actually still there after 300 years. And then in terms of the three, wow. This was a good chance to show off that the actors can do other characters. It was really good. That's really all I had to say.
Like, I'm glad they did the personality things, at least with these three, because at least these three, we have at least some flesh out of their personalities prior to this. I think it would have been crap if it would have been like Raptor, Garu, and, Sho. Granted, Sho wasn't there at the moment.
Show would have been serious.
Yeah, but that's about it. It's like we wouldn't know much beyond. Okay, so they're a little different. At least it was drastic enough to go, this might cause problems, especially with Balance not being able to keep his mouth shut. All in all, is like I did like it. I'm actually amazed that Orion's grave was still there 300 years later, not just weather worn, though that was a nice touch. I mean, just how lucky is that? It did this, put the grave, in the middle of a field, and urban development hasn't happened in that area. That was nice, because logistically that probably wouldn't have happened unless they did it in like a park or something.
Yep. So Raptor and the others have located the ship by now. Naga has to use the Ohitsuji Q-Tama to put the three to sleep, and they carry them with them. Aboard the bridge, which is identical to the Oriongo's bridge, Lucky, Kotaro, and Garu eagerly open the cryopod that's there in the center of the room. Sholompo says hello and explains what happened in the past using familiar storyboards. So, right off the bat, we have two callbacks. Lucky opening the cryopod without giving a shit, and then Sholompo using his storyboards to brag. And then the third callback, once again, Naga looks at the camera and says, yep, this is definitely a lie. Wow. And Sholompo reveals that he also knew that Donamage was still alive. What did you guys think?
I am so happy Show's back. And in the beginning, we were all curious as to how he was going to survive, so I'm glad they actually gave a crap and gave us an explanation. I adored all the callbacks, like the cards, Naga breaking a fourth wall. And just a quick question: did anybody see Stinger's face when Show came back? Cause I think he broke for a good minute. So yeah, I mean, and the Battle Orion ship. Oh my god! Even just from it being covered in dust, the thing looks awesome. But I will give my full thoughts on it a bit later. So yeah, I absolutely adored this scene.
Show just like sitting up like he's a vampire, and then just casually going like, "Hey!" That was, yeah. You would do that. You wouldn't be like a little groggy because you've just been asleep for hundreds of years. No. No, it was like you closed your eyes and then suddenly the coffin opened up for you, wasn't it?
Like, I enjoyed all the callbacks to here. And just to correct something, King, I called it with how Show was going to survive, because kind of normal, but because it was the most obvious solution to it. Though all in all, it's like I enjoyed all the callbacks, a board thing, and Naga breaking the fourth wall for it. I've missed that Naga. It was just, all in all, it was just a great scene. I like the fact that it looks the same, even though, or the cockpit looks the same, even though it's a cheap way to do it. Because, like it stated later on the episode, for why it is, it's why I enjoyed it.
So above ground, dark matter begin bombarding the ground to bury them alive. Shalumpo, disappointingly, was unable to find the Orion Kyutama, so the ship cannot take off. Tsurugi leaves to fight off the mechs. Lucky leaves to find the Kyutama. Unfortunately, the geezer trio wakes up and leaves with him. Naga's the only one who squeezes through the door to follow them before it shuts down. Sho is optimistic that Lucky will be able to find the Kyutama because of his connection to Orion. Naga tells the geezers not to interfere, which they do defiantly and star change. Naga and Lucky join as well. Lucky and Kukuruga are isolated during the fight, and Lucky is unable to damage Kukuruga, who's actually able to deflect attacks with his weird cannon arm. And he's not able to transform into Shishi Orion as well. But he is able to deflect an attack using Orion's club. Orion tells him to grab the Psycho Kyutama, which kind of sends him into some other dimension for a little bit, and basically sees Orion again. He places his faith in Lucky, and then he turns into the Orion Kyutama. The Kyutama forms the Orion Voyager, which crashes into the ground and connects to the battle Orion ship. The ship takes off and destroys the big Morai Mazu with the Orion cannon. And this is another callback, because in the episode when they're going to crash into the sun, Shalumpa pretty much says, "Okay, that's it, just blow up the sun." But the Oriongo didn't have a cannon, and now it does. Awesome. But before I go on, what did you guys think?
I forgot about that callback. That was a good one. Okay. I adore the design on this. It looks like an updated Astro Mega ship. I can't get that image out of my head. It looks awesome. And the fight with Kukuruga and Lucky I thought was really cool. It was really nice seeing Orion for one last time, because I know his actor just gave the final goodbyes on set. So I doubt we'll be seeing him again. So it was nice. I found a lot of different elements that I liked in this because this was like an episode of KyuuRanger mixed with an episode of One Piece. The One Piece thing I'll get to. The KyuuRanger thing, what I mean by that is when Naga was saying, like, you three should stay out of this, and they're like, screw that, we're jumping in. It was basically an episode where the pink KyuuRanger, she had to twist whatever she was saying in order for the alien to understand her. And that's one of my favorite episodes. So this was really cool for me to see that again. And it was even funnier for this because the characters were even better. So all in all, I had a lot of fun with this. And like I said, the ship looks absolutely stunning in the ship form. I will get to the Balor form in a minute.
I really enjoyed Naga in this episode here. Not only calling Shalompo out on his bullshit, but also, like, when Lucky catches on to what Naga was doing to manipulate the others, you could see, like, he looks proud of himself that he did that. And I feel like that was a really good moment for him. And I hadn't thought about it, but yeah, this is kind of like that episode of KyuuRanger. The alien basically talks backwards, so everything he says is the opposite of what he means, and it takes Eri to figure that out. Not Eri, that's different. Umeko.
There you go.
Go on.
Like, I liked the callbacks with Naga, but I liked the way that Naga basically took charge with being able to control the three. It's not to see very often, so that look of pride that was there was just nice that he had that. And the fact that Lucky wasn't a gigantic asshole about it either when he figured out what Naga was doing. He didn't just try to, like, run with it himself. He kind of let Naga keep doing it. Which is a little out of character for Lucky up until here recently, so it's nice that they're continuing that growth and not chopping it off at the knees. I did like the ship form of the mech. I'm not too sold on the actual mecha part of it, which we'll get to in a minute. But yeah, all in all, this was a nice little setup. I think they kind of did the Ex Machina bullshit a little bit too much in terms of, like, him getting, because they did that with the super cute Dama, where it just, it appeared. You know, there really wasn't anything that they did to get it. The same thing with this. He really didn't do anything to get it other than, unless you count his speech.
Quick question. Did he have the club when the Orion Kitama appeared? With him still?
Yeah, he deflected one of Kukuruga's attacks after a mini speech, and then...
I remember that one, but after? Like, when he actually got the Kitama?
I assumed that the club turned into the Kyutama.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think it did after
Like, maybe
he talked
he hit
to
it.
Orion.
Maybe he hit it and it had to be Lucky to unlock it.
Yeah, maybe.
But like I said, that it still feels a bit Ex Machina to me. Like they didn't do anything to earn it. Like I said, the only thing that was of importance with that entire scene is the fact that Lucky made that speech.
Yeah. So let's see. Lucky. Okay. Yeah. So the ship takes off and destroys the big Moirai Mazu with the Orion cannon. Blah blah blah. Lucky joins the others and says that they will never defeat Dark Matter and never save the galaxy. This inspires them to get up and fight again. The 5-star change and roll call, but they're silly geezer versions. Tsurugi defeats the other mechs with Raptor's help. The Rangers defeat Magara After Tsurugi joins the fight on the ground, Magara turns giant. Lucky transforms into Shishi Orion and is teleported to the Orion Voyager. Battleship Orion transforms into Orion Battler. And then we get a new insert song. For the most part, Lucky is kind of unable to control the Orion Battler, who kind of just rampages until Lucky uses Orion Dynamic Strike to defeat the giant Magara. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty decent mech. It's kind of fun that it has a mind of its own a bit. What did you guys think?
I know the big guy isn't exactly the prettiest in design, and it might not be the greatest, but hell, I love this thing. The friggin' flames coming out of his head, the clubs swinging everywhere, it talks. I'm just in love with this thing, and I do like the touch that even Shishi Orion is having trouble controlling this thing. And that's their most powerful form, so kind of puts it in perspective a little bit. And I don't know. I mean, I still like the three going off with each other like that, and the twisting logic thing. I'm glad they kept that. The different roll call I thought was really cute. Oh my god, I just love this. And just the freaking, I can't get over the mech. He's so awesome. You guys can love him, you guys can hate him. I adored this so damn much.
The weird roll call was perfectly cringy. Like, it was super fucking awkward, the way they were acting, and it really tied in with the whole twisted personality thing. As for the mech's design, I also like its design. I think it looks pretty neat. The part that looked bad was when they tried doing like Orion's face over the face of the mecha. That looked terrible.
I did like the roll call with it. I like the fact that they even took the time to CG that one. Like, normally I hate the CG ones, but the fact that they took the time to record it all fuckified with that, it was a nice touch. And it was just the right amount of cringeworthiness. I also like the fact that this fight didn't start off with Lucky transforming straight into Orion. I like the fact that he did his, base power up, base form, and didn't jump straight into the power up. I hate when they do that shit. Because especially in Sentai, I don't mind it so much in Rider when they do it, but in Sentai, it kind of, I don't know, it takes me out of it when they do that. I think this series would be the only one where it's remotely passable because there's two reds. As for Orion, I didn't like when they did the overlay of Orion's face. I know why they did it, but it didn't look right. I love the way it looks, and I like the fact that Lucky can't control it, but I think that they didn't give it enough screen time to justify all of that. It just made it seem like it was just doing its own thing, and then Lucky did the finisher, and that was it. It's one of those mechs that I think needs more screen time in a fight for them to justify it being sentient in of itself. Though it is a nice callback to the older Sentais that had sentient mechs. And I also like the fact that when the ship stood up, everybody inside fell over. I like that because it makes sense.
Oh, right. It reminds me of Power Rangers in Space with the Delta Mega ship.
So then we cut to everyone being on the battleship. The Rangers begin cleaning the bridge. Spada rushes in, excited about the kitchen setup, and says he'll whip up something amazing. But the mood immediately changes when Stinger asks Sho where Champ is. Sho tells them that Champ said he would see someone after putting Sho to sleep, he was going to see Dr. Anton. Then we cut to the Vice Shoguns. Akiyama laughs with glee before showing Kukuruga a deactivated Champ-looking robot. We don't know for sure if it's Champ or if it's a clone, or prototype. Yeah, we don't know, but that's what we get, and that's the end of the episode. What do you guys think?
Oh boy. I want to touch on what I said earlier about this being an episode of One Piece. This reminded me a lot of the Going Merry Thousand Sunny thing. For those of you who don't know, basically the first ship the One Piece crew had was called the Going Merry, but eventually they had to give the old girl up. I don't entirely remember how, but I remember it being
it got wrecked to shit. Like everything they went through, it just kept getting beat up more and more, and finally they just couldn't fix it.
Thank you for reminding me. And then this came along, and the Battle Orion ship is basically their version of the Thousand Sunny. So I really like the parallels with that. I forgot about that last week until now, so that was a good touch. I loved the little scene they had with like Balance bouncing on the mop, Yaru running everywhere, cleaning everything, Bada freaking out over the kitchen. I loved that. And although it was only for a brief second, I saw another change in Stinger. It was obviously very subtle. It was in the way he talked. Felt a lot more warmer. It felt more open. He seemed okay with asking about Champ instead of just, pulling him off to the side, like he would have usually done in the past. So it was small, but it was there, and I did appreciate that. And as for Champ, Vashi and I talked about this a little bit, and it does seem like something Akiyama would do, like, to fuck with them, because look what she did with Naga. So I'm saying it's a clone. He's saying it's the original Champ, but we'll have to wait and see next week, and I want to hear what he has to say later. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with that, and I am very curious to see what's going on with Champ. And it does explain where Kyamba's been, so I'm glad they have a touch on that.
I loved the scene of them just setting up the new ship of theirs, like getting it all cleaned up and such. It was a nice little breather. One thing that Sentai has been missing in the past few years was just letting your characters be themselves in a normal situation. And this was a good example of that. We never see them just be normal. Like with Spada coming in, like freaking out, like, oh my god, the new kitchen's amazing. Naga noticing like the door wide opening with Spada rushing in. He pulls the bucket of water out of the way, and then Spada like half-mindedly like, oh sorry. It just felt so nice. Like, these moments are some things that we would just get in Sentai in the past. Nowadays, we don't. We've gotten a few like them here in KyuuRanger, but this was definitely the best one. As for the Champ type robot, there's tons of explanations for what that is, or what that could be rather. Like, no one ever said Dr. Anton only made one robot. We know that he worked for Dark Matter. That could just be like Champ went to him and said, hey, upgrade me, as like a clever ploy to be like later on, hey, I'm stronger now. There's a lot that could be.
Just to clarify, when I said it was the original Champ, I meant like the prototype, the build that was made before Champ. When I was talking about with King, because that's my theory on it. That the one that that Akiyama got a hold of is the prototype. As for the scene with everybody working on the bridge and all that, I liked it because, like I said, it's when you get to see the characters as genuine characters rather than, oh, they're gonna go fight something now. I also did like the fact that they put Stinger I guess for lack of a better term, finagling that weird light plant thing, because it tied into the fact of him being creative, which that was touched on when he made the little plushies. So I like that they nodded back to that too. All in all, it's a nice setup, and like King said, there you see the growth that Stinger's made in terms of his openness about things, and the fact that just the way he worded it and his tone and everything else shows that he does care about Champ and is actually he seems worried about where Champ is, beyond just, hey, where's that guy? So it shows that despite the fact that we haven't seen a lot of growth between Stinger and Champ outside of what seemed forced when they partnered up, it shows that there was a lot more depth that we didn't get to see that is there. So it was nice that they touched on
that. Move on to final thoughts, I guess. Decade?
Yeah, overall, I thought it was a pretty fun episode. Good humor, good action. Pretty intense mech fighting for once, with Tsurugi having to fight off a bunch of robos until help arrived. So yeah, I thought that was good. And it's starting to look like my theory's becoming more and more plausible, with Dr. Anton being some evil mastermind behind all these villains just not dying. So we'll see what happens.
Oh my god, I absolutely adored this episode. It made me laugh, it made me cry, it made me really excited for next week. So, I had a lot of fun, but I am so looking forward to seeing Champ again, because I miss the big man.
I didn't have a whole lot to say about this episode, but I still enjoyed it. This was a good episode. It did kind of destroy one theory that I think I was talking to Vashi about, with the whole Don Armage's secret identity thing. That what if Sho Lampo, when he decided to stay in the past, wanted to make sure that basically history didn't get completely fucked up. So in order for that to happen, Don Armage would still need to exist in the present. So he would basically go to become the new Don Armage kind of thing. It was like this weird, crazy theory we were just bouncing ideas
way
off
too
of.
Smart for this show, man.
I get it. It really is. It was just this crazy theory we were going off of that this episode just immediately debunked.
That was a great theory. I'm actually kind of disappointed that they didn't go that route. Because, yeah, that would have been amazing to see. But, go figure, Sentai, they don't follow through with intelligence. They just, yeah, this guy's still alive apparently somehow. We'll figure that out when we get to it. I'm starting to like Decade's theory more and more about Dr. Anton being involved in that somehow, because it does add up and make sense a little bit. But all in all, this episode was good. I enjoyed the callbacks, because those are always fun, because it does still kind of show growth in that while the characters are growing, they're still kind of the same, if that makes sense. And that was a nice touch. All in all, it was a good episode. They covered a lot, in my opinion, but they did it in a very, very well done way, which for this series is typically not the case. Anybody else have any last minute things?
I'm good.
I think that's it. Thanks for joining us this week, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Yep, thanks for listening.
Later, taters.
Thank you all for listening. We will be back tomorrow for the Kamen Rider Build podcast, for those of you who want to check that out tomorrow at 9. If not, we will be back next week at the same time for episode 34 of Uchuu Sentai KyuuRanger. Thank you guys very much for checking us out. If you guys enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe so you can stay tuned to the rest of our nonsense with this show.
One final thing before we actually sign off, though. This November, some friends of mine are going to be doing a 48-hour charity live stream. I'll be able to provide some more details tomorrow during the Kamen Rider podcast. But I'll start providing some links in the descriptions if you want to be able to check this out. There'll be more information coming.